Today's program is sponsored by the Anthony Vincent Salon. Say hello to beautiful.
You're listening to Trend Radio, where we talk about what's hot and what's not. Get into the loop with us. I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise, and we're your radio gateway to what's trending with beauty, fashion, health, wellness, and sex.
Mostly sex.
Learn and laugh with us anytime, anyplace. Go right to our website, anthonyvincentsalon.com. Click away and listen today.
You'll be glad you did.
Yes, you will be.
Elise, we
Anthony!
have a great show today.
Don't we always?
Of course we do.
Of course we do.
We're going to find out how to get what you want in the bedroom.
But I already know that.
Of course you do. But first, we have a tremendous guest today.
I know.
And yes, he is the Jew with a clue.
I know. He is the psychic therapist. Or I like to think of him as psychic extraordinaire, Artie Hoffman.
Yes, a hot psychic with a warm heart.
What a great introduction. I might want to have to come here again and again.
And we're going to want you.
My ego is growing.
Hey, drop the ego.
No, you're right.
And ladies, he is very, very cute. But I see a wedding ring, so
Oh, sorry, Anthony.
You're out of luck.
Sorry, Anthony. So are you.
Artie, welcome to our show today.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm really happy. I'm thrilled to be here.
It is great to have you.
I have been so excited. I've been telling Anthony, I just can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh,
I've
thank
been so
you.
excited.
You're a sweetheart. You're a sweetheart.
I am so are you. So I'm so excited.
So, Artie, tell us, when did you first learn you were a psychic?
I was going to ask that, but you
I
know.
I'm getting into your head
well,
these days.
you know what? I'm so good. I'm going to answer the both of you at the same time. No, actually, we all know that there's no such thing as coincidence, but for human sake, we'll say by coincidence, or it just so happened to be. I came home from work one day and I looked on the kitchen counter and there was, a bunch of junk mail, and I read through it, and just really quickly, I really didn't pay much mind to it. And then I went back to it like a day or two later. And but before I went back to it, I was in my home office very frustrated in my life. I had a lot of great things going on in my life, but yet something still wasn't fulfilled. And I literally sat in my chair in my home office and I looked up to the ceiling.
You're talking about home office. What was that? You're in a different field?
Well, I have a window cleaning power washing business. You're going to love this one.
Okay.
It's called Peeping Tom's Window Cleaning.
Love it.
Yeah, and on my card it says binoculars not included. True. So I've had it for 30 years, but it runs itself. I don't have to physically do it. So it runs itself when I do my psychic and medium stuff full time. So I'm hanging out in my home office and I'm looking up to the ceiling. I said, God, I need answers and I need clear answers. I said, something's not right. I said, and when you give me the answers, please don't scare the hell out of me. I said those exact words. So I went back upstairs and I'm looking through my junk mail, and there was a little pamphlet and it said, how would you like to develop your psychic ability and intuitiveness? Go to the Edgar Cayce Foundation in Virginia Beach for this one weekend seminar. And I was amazed because I thought either you had it or you didn't. I didn't realize you could learn how to do this. So I looked at it just out of curiosity or something fun to do. I wasn't looking at it like this is the answer to my prayers.
You just found this. It was on your desk. It came in the mail.
Yeah, it was just junk mail. And so I asked my wife, who was my wife at the time, I said, hey, how would you like to go with me to this and just check it out? And she looked at it. She goes, I don't give a crap about that. She goes, you can go if you want. I'm not interested. So I went. And long story short, there was about 40 or 50 of us there in the room, and they taught you how to open up your heart and your mind to be 100% unconditional, to be able to receive messages. And they said, whoever you're with, and they got you into that train of thought, and they said, whoever you're with, just share those thoughts. I don't care how stupid the message is, just share it with that person. And consistently, I was very accurate as far as giving people information, not realizing I was good at this. And the funny thing is, one of my favorite characters growing up as a kid was Uncle Arthur from Bewitched, and he had a gift and he was funny, and I said I want to be like, I always said I would love to be like him and have those powers and stuff, and being that my name is Arthur, Artie's nickname, but here it turns out to be. And then I didn't realize that this one weekend literally changed my life forever. So I did it for the fun of it with friends and family for a few years, and then I needed some extra money, and so I said, yeah, you know what, I know how to read people. I said, I'll throw an ad in the paper. But I didn't want money to be connected, or the pressure of money, or people to think that I was just trying to take advantage or just a scam. So I put an ad in the paper, and it said, if I don't pull through, no charge. Because I didn't want people to think that I was trying to take advantage of them. Well, 90% of the people paid me, and it just took off. And then now, before you know it, I have this incredible career, and now I have a TV producer wanting to do a TV show around me, and besides,
How great is that?
doing radio and
How
stuff like
amazing
that.
is that?
Yeah, tell us about this TV thing.
Well, I can't get too in depth only because we're at the beginning stages. We filmed one day, and it's like a reality show. And he was going to do the psychic angle, but then after doing the show for one day, he says, I don't want to do the psychic thing. He says, there's a lot of them being plugged. He says, let's just do the life of Artie Hoffman. You happen to be psychic. Because what happened, we were at the very first time he met me, we were at a restaurant. And if the waiter or waitress is pretty cool, if they have a fun personality, I'll go to them as a fun little thing. I said, let me have your hand. And this is towards the end of any meal. I won't do it at the beginning because I don't want to be bothered. And they go, what? And they'll usually look at me with a smile. I said, let me just hold your hand. And then all of a sudden I said, I'm not going to promise you anything. They stand there with a smile. And then all of a sudden I'll just give them some information. And then whoever I'm with, whether it be a friend or my wife, and they'll go, oh, he's psychic. And so, really? Really? I usually get that response. I only had one person say, no, that's not what I want. So I said, all right, But everybody else is like, oh my God, that is so cool that you could. And like usually people are going through some major crap in their life of whatever it is I'm describing. And like I said, I do it for the fun of it. And I do have an on-off switch, so I'm not on 24/7 because my friends who do have this gift and who they allow themselves to be on 24/7 with the gift, a lot of them suffer from depression because you're dealing with everybody else's energy. And it's very consuming. So when I'm in the mall or out in public, I'm literally like just every Joe Schmo. But when I want to turn it on the dime, my angels are there and they just feed me information. And my license plate does say, I just know.
I just know.
Very
I
cool.
love that.
I love that. So when you get these
Premonitions?
yeah, are they in thoughts? Are they pictures? Is it a voice?
It's actually everything. Right now, if you could picture the sound of your mother or father's voice, because they're not here. So if you could recall the sound of their voice, or one of your good friends who's not here, if you could recall the sound of their voice, that's how I hear. I hear voices in my head, and I'm not going.
So do I.
And I'm not going schizophrenia on you either. It's funny if they say that if you talk to God, they call it prayer, but if God talks to you, they call it schizophrenia. But and then there are times I'll see pictures and videos, and I hear songs. Now, when I say pictures and videos, right now you could picture what your bedroom looks like. You could recall what your bedroom looks like. So that picture that you just generated, you did it by a recall. For me, it comes totally spontaneous. And then the picture, it has to do with the person, which I'll tell you an interesting story in a moment. Now, if you could just picture also the last time you went on vacation, the video of you being in Florida or being wherever on vacation, I see videos like it's a movie. And then other times, literally, I hear songs in my head. In the moment, randomly, a song will just pop into my head. Whatever that song is about, it has to do with what's going on with that person.
Oh, wow.
And I'll give you a perfect example. One girl asked me how her relationship was. She already has my relationship. And in that moment, a song came into my head. I fooled around with girls in love. I said, I hate to tell you, I said, your husband's cheating on you.
Oh.
And she kind of said, well, I kind of figured. And I described what she looked like. And I said, she's like a Morticia. She's skinny. She has long hair. And I said, she's like on the lower social class. And she said, yeah. She goes, I kind of figured that. And she is white trash and blah, 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 blah. And not just because she's the other girl, but because that's just her style.
What made you want to tell the other person that? Did it just happen, or she specifically asked you that question?
Well, yeah, she asked me. Like, if I see something, like I never will tell anybody when they're going to die. Even if they ask me, Artie, when am I going to die? It's stupid. I'm not going to do it for two reasons. Number one, it will ruin the quality of your life because subconsciously it's always going to sit there. And number two, I don't want it to turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy because when people give you the power to be able to program their thoughts. I'm very inspirational, and so I say everything with a positive twist. So there are times where I have to give hard news. Well, people say, well, what do you do? Do you tell bad news? I call it hard news because if I'm getting hard news about somebody's life, whether it be business, work, love, whatever it is, or medical, I give them answers on how to overcome their obstacles. A lot of times I get answers in the moment. I don't even know what their problem is, but I just instantly will inspire them with answers, and sometimes they get it and sometimes they don't. But by the end of their reading session, when I'm finished reading them, they'll ask me a question. I said, well, I already answered that. I mean, that was the answer to your
And these answers
questions.
are from your angels?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Answers from the angels.
Do you ever get any kinds of scents or smells or anything like that? Does that ever happen?
Yes, once in a while. Yeah, the very first time it happened to me, I wasn't even a psychic at the time. I was in my mid-20s. I went to Casadega, Florida, and if anybody goes to Florida, check it out because the entire city, the entire town, are spiritualists and mediums and psychics, and you can knock on anyone's door.
What is the name of this city?
Casadega, Florida, which I think it's actually called. They've been on 20/20 and 60 Minutes. It's right off of Route 4, right between Daytona and Orlando. It's right in the middle, and I think the sign on the road is called St. Helens or St. Helena's, but then the whole town itself, the little neighborhood, is called Casadega. And
I was through there last month.
Really?
Yes, on my way to St. Augustine.
And you didn't stop by?
I didn't stop in, but I remember seeing the sign.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe you will next time.
That's right. Next time you go there, you got to go there. But it's cool. So when you said that, as far as the scents and stuff, so I'm sitting with this lady, and she was amazing, and she was telling me names and situations, and I was blown away. Well, that's what I do now. But all of a sudden, the whole room smelt of roses, like somebody sprayed perfume bottle. Roses was phenomenal. And she goes, oh my God, do you smell that? She goes, Rose is here. And Rose is my grandmother.
Oh, wow.
And the whole place, and this lady was freaking me out. I just was so overwhelmed. I had to leave early because I was just so overwhelmed by what I was physically experiencing. But that has happened to me and all. But like I said, all my answers come from inspirational and inspiring. And if I see, I would never tell somebody, oh, I see you have cancer. So if I do feel it, I would say, oh, you need to go see the doctor. I see an issue in your heart, or I'm seeing an issue in your bladder or your kidney. And I do give medical advice. And even though I've never been to a doctor, I've never been to medical school, I've never even been to college, but jokingly I tell people I went to the University of Maryland for 2 years, but that was just to visit my friends.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's a riot.
Now, you talk about the angels.
Uh-huh.
I don't understand what that is. Is it like the little angel sitting on your shoulder? Is it just do you?
Well, everybody's born. It's funny because a lot of people ask me, do I have any angels around me? And literally everybody is born with at least 2 guardian angels around them from the time they're born to the time they die. And it is just their job to serve you. However, we have this thing called free will. And the angels are not allowed to intervene into your life unless if you ask them to help me. So when you say, God, please help me with this, or I need, more money, or I need a job, or please help me with this situation, help me deal with my kids, only say things with positive affirmations. Don't say anything in the negative, because if your energy of fear is greater than your energy of desire, then that's what you're going to experience. So it's very. So I'll give
attraction.
you, the law of the attraction. So I'll give you one quick example. Don't ever say, you know what, I don't want to be poor. Tell me how wealthy you would like to be. Don't tell me, you know what, I don't want to grow up alone. I'm afraid of being alone. Just tell me, I wish to have a lot of beautiful friends. I wish to have a beautiful soulmate in my life. Just say positive things. And so therefore the universe will take that picture and help you manifest it. But yeah, your angels are around you. The only time an angel will intervene into your life when not asked, if you're in a do or die situation and it's not your time to go, they will intervene and to save your life if it's meant for you to be saved.
I
Not,
agree with this 100%.
If not, your butt is gone if you're meant to go.
He sometimes looks at me like I'm crazy because I'm all about, my angels and his angels and everybody else's angels. And...
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of unemployed angels. A lot of people, they never ask. And the angels are there to help you out. They really are. I mean, I literally ask for, when I go to the beach, I call upon all my loving guardian angels. Thank you for opening up a closed parking spot just for me, ASAP.
He actually does that.
I do that.
Yeah, he
I
does
don't
that.
ask the angels though.
Oh, no, I just put it out there. And,
Puts it
I
out
put
there,
it out
yeah.
there.
and I get really close parking spots.
I've been doing that for years.
Well, see,
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
the law of attraction right now. You can just do it for anything. Prosperity, whatever you want. Well, literally, anything you want, you can manifest.
Absolutely. We agree with that.
Yes, the
Yes,
universe is
absolutely.
abundant with everything you could desire. All you need to do is ask.
And that's exactly, you said a mouthful. The universe is abundant with everything that you ask for. So that's why it's so important that it is positive.
Now, the bad thing that people do to themselves is like, oh, no, I don't want to ask too much, or they need it more than me, and they have a hard time receiving. You have to understand, God could give everybody on this planet as much abundance as everybody wants. He feeds everybody every single day on this planet on a regular basis. The only reason why there are people that are starving is because of politics, power, and greed. No other reason, but God is filled with plenty on this earth and planet for everybody.
Agreed.
Yeah, the Bible says that there will always be poor. The poor
Yeah.
will always be.
And the reason why that is because it's an actual blessing for the people who have abundance, because it's an investment in your own soul when you're taking care of other people who are less fortunate. The people who are less fortunate, they are putting themselves in a position to give you the ability to help the person or to ixnay the person, but that will have a direct effect on your soul. So when I go into the city and I see, people, especially if they're garbage digging I will always walk up to them and give them money, always. When I'm finished with a meal in New York City, if I'm not finished with my meal and I have leftovers, I tell them to wrap it up and I'll give it to a homeless person.
Now, with your psychic ability, that person that may be rummaging, are you able to tell if they're hungry or if they're a drug or alcoholic that would use the money that you give them for
Yeah.
the alcohol and the drugs?
Well, number one, when I give money, it's unconditional.
There is no agenda.
Yeah, there's no agenda. It's their choice to either feed themselves with food or if they want to because when they take drugs or they buy alcohol, then they're emotionally feeding themselves in the moment. And I'm there just to feed them regardless. It's their choice. However, there are times where I get in those moods, and I'm being honest, I get in the moods where I'm not going to give them money for maybe just that reason. But instead of giving them money, I'll say, can I buy you a sandwich, or would you like a drink? Or, I'll already buy it and I have it. I said, would you like? No. So I know that they're just interested in money for drugs or alcohol or whatever. It was funny. I saw this one guy, this one heavy set, a homeless person had a big sign and said, please donate to me. I'm doing alcohol research.
Oh, no, that's
We had to
funny.
give to him, and people take pictures with him, and he was just blatantly honest. You got to love
Oh,
a guy
that
like
is
that.
hilarious.
That sounds like something I would do.
I did it for fun.
And he was a character. He looked like he was a character. Besides, he's not trying to be, humbled or trying to dress nice. He is who he was, long straggly hair and just dressed in his street clothes. And it was funny. And people were just willing to take pictures with him and give him some money.
And take pictures with that sign.
Yeah, of course. It's great,
Oh, that's a riot.
People always ask me, how did you meet your wife? And jokingly, I'll say, well, she felt sorry for me. I was holding up a sign, we'll work for food.
Oh, that is a riot. Now, so speaking of your wife, do you, when you guys, obviously you're married, so you're going to have arguments. Do you turn your abilities off at that moment so that you can actually have a fair fight, or not?
Yeah, well, she's also pretty intuitive herself. She doesn't do it at the level in the way that I do it, but she is very talented, especially with mediumship. I just want the audience to understand, being a psychic is somebody who could tell the past, present, and future of what's going on in a person's life. A medium is somebody who communicates with angels and who communicates with people's deceased loved ones,
Right.
People who've passed away. So that's what a medium is. So, and then a mentalist is somebody who could read people's minds. I don't read people's minds. That's different. A mentalist is somebody, I know what you're thinking. So that's the difference. They're not psychic. They're not medium. They just read into
The person,
The
yeah.
person. It's of their thoughts.
Is that a technique or is it an
It's a technique.
It is a technique. It's
Yeah,
not
mentalist is a technique.
Okay, so
Yeah.
not a...
You know the show, The Mentalist?
I know the show. I've never watched it.
Yeah, neither have I. Not that I have anything against it. I just don't. But no, as far as I do teach. I have taught people how to tap into their psychic ability, intuitiveness, and it's a lot of fun. People who've never done it before could do it because I didn't have spit. I had nothing, and I learned this 26 years ago.
I was
That was
just about
actually-
to ask you.
I knew that.
Yes.
That was actually a great class that I met you at.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was really, really amazing.
And it was just so, it was a blast. And it's so much fun because I have everybody tell their little stories, like what did you get off of this person and their little experiences. And once you give up all judgment, and the thing is, I tell everybody, I want you to be wrong. You know, I don't want you to feel the pressure. Oh, they were so good. Now I have to be on. And I said, no, I want you to fall off the bike. I want you to be wrong. I don't want you to worry about, just say your thoughts. You know, so there are times when when I am being my psychic self or medium self or whatnot, and I give people information. I record all my sessions because I say so much information. There's no way you're going to remember everything.
And you give them the.
I give them the information, the tips, or whatever they want to know. So there are times where people will say no, they can't relate to anything I'm saying. And I'll look at them. I said, look, I'm not looking for your approval. I'm just telling you what I'm getting. This is my gut. And I'll tell you a very funny story. I have many funny stories. But
Yes, you do.
there was a girl who I was reading, and she really thought I stunk. I was at a party. I was in upstate New York, a beautiful blonde girl, and she was like agitated. She's thinking to herself, because she told me this later, like, oh my God, I am like just so wasting my money on this guy. It's like, I can't believe that I'm hanging out with this guy. She thought I was a nice guy, but she goes, this is bull crap. So, so I said to her, you're going to be invited to go to a wedding in India. And she had a look like if looks could kill. And she leans into my face over the little desk that we had. She leans into my face. She goes, Artie, I have no Indian friends. I hate Indian food. I have no desire to go to India. So how you pulled up with that crap, I have no clue. She goes, I don't know where you're getting this stuff on. I said, well, I'm just telling you, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing an Indian wedding going on. It's in India because I could hear all the sounds and I see what it looks like in my mind. And so lo and behold, a month and a half later went by, and she goes to night classes. Again, she has no Indian friends, but a guy friend who she would go to class with every single evening during a weekday, a month and a half later, asked her if she would be his date to go to a wedding in India.
Wow.
Now, I didn't say she was going. I said, you're going to be asked. And lo and behold, and she freaked out. And then, needless to say, the family had me like very shortly thereafter for another party because a bunch of other things came true. And, you know, people always say, what's the winning lottery number? Or do you ever give winning numbers or stuff? And the answer is yes. I have given out probably over 50 winning lottery numbers, but a pick 3, pick 4. But somebody can't just ask me and say, oh, give it to me. You know, it doesn't work like that. It just has to
If the numbers
come in that moment, then I will share it. And I've given people winning situations. If their loved ones pull through, and they'll say, go to Atlantic City, go to Caesars Casino, go to the roulette table. This is what the people look like behind the roulette wheel, and and that has happened, and people have won money. And it amazes me. I've given out, I'm 10 for 10 on winning stock tips. Again, it's not used for greed at all. It just has to naturally come, and that's it. You know, there was a guy who did call me up about a year and a half later. I gave him a stock tip, and he said, Artie, he goes, listen, he says, you still doing readings? I go, yeah. He goes, how much are you reading? So I told him how much my reading was. And he goes, listen, he says, you have any, can you give me any more of those stock tips? I go, yeah, that's fine. I go, but that one's going to cost you $1,000. He goes, what do you mean $1,000? I thought you said I said, yeah. But I said, you want a stock tip first? I said, how did it do last time? He goes, no, it did pretty well. I go, yeah, it went up over 100%. I said to her, just share me a small percentage. Now, mind you, they pay me for my time, so that's my payoff. But it amazes me. Now, this is not meant for greed, what I do. This is to help benefit other people's lives. That's what it is, emotionally or physically. And I do help people with their pets also. When that pet is hurting, or to let them know they're okay on the other side, or what physical ailments are they going through. So I do get information about that. Again, I'm not a vet, meaning a veterinarian. I'm not a medical doctor, but I do get all these answers. And the funny thing is, I always wanted to be a therapist or a psychiatrist growing up, going through school years. But I was never a scholastic person. I didn't have the patience for books. I didn't have the money for the kind of schooling that it went. I mean, yeah, I'm sure I would be able to get grants and loans eventually. And the weird thing is, being that I never really went to college, now I have therapists who come see me for answers to help them out.
Isn't that amazing?
And it's all because of the angels. And really, when people say, "Oh, Artie, you were right about this," or "This came true," and I get excited because when I'm in the moment with them in the session, I don't remember jack crap. I don't remember anything. It's not until after I'm in the conscious mind they'll tell me things, what has happened. And they go, "Oh, this came true, that came true, this is happening." I said, "Oh, cool. And I'm like excited because when I first started this, I really thought I was like a little schoolboy just blowing smoke up their butts, just telling them little white lies. Honest, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I was just trying to get excited, enthusiastic.
Well, that was
and
what
tell
was
us
coming to you.
And that was coming to me, but this is when I first started, and I was only praying what I said would come true, but most of the stuff comes true. Now it's like I'm very confident. Like when I see it, it's like, if you don't get it now, you'll get it later. And just because I say what I say as far as what's to be, it doesn't mean it's 100% going to come true. Most of the times it does. But we also have free will because they're a matter of choices. So just because I give an answer, a lot of time, the greatest psychics or mediums in the world, nobody's ever 100%. Nobody. Because based on your actions, you could change the direction of your course of your life, which then will give you a lot of different opportunities, a lot of things that could happen. But based on the road that you're on now, like if you go down this road and you're heading west, you are going to hit California. But I said based on the road that you're on now. But if you do this, if you
can
go,
turn right or left.
Right. If you go north, you're going to end up in Wisconsin, and if you go south, you're going to end up in Louisiana, and so you can make different choices. There are certain things, come hell to high water, this is what's going to happen. And I have told people that when I give people say on relationship, well, if you end up staying in it, this is what you could expect. If you go for counseling, this is what you could expect. And if you leave him or leave her, this is what you can expect. And I would tell them what the outcomes are going to be based on their choices. And they go, well, which am I going to do? I said, well, that's your free will. I just told you what to expect.
Of all the questions that you're asked, how often is what is the future of my relationship? Will I find a guy? Will I find I would think it's mostly women that you're talking
Right.
to. So does that seem to be the biggest question? Will I find love? Will he be the best?
You want to know
Will I
something?
get
What's
married?
interesting with me is that I'm capable of describing people's future love. And a lot of times, like if people are in relationships now, but they're like having a horrific time in their relationship, I'll turn off the recorder and I'll say to them, listen, I'm asking for your sake, not for my sake. Are you in a relationship? Because if I'm starting to see a future love, but they're already with somebody, and it's on recording, I don't want their spouse or partner to find it and say, oh, what's this? Because that's happened a couple of times. And that happened at the beginning of my career. And people came back like freaking out on me, like this other person who was getting shunned called me up. Now, granted, I was very accurate on both accounts when this happened. I was very accurate on what was going on behind the scenes. But I've just learned to turn it off so that it's not on record. And then I'll say, well, this is who I see you being with, there is a lady who is totally, in her relationship for 16 years. And I said to her, I see you're going to have an incredible affair. I said, the sex is going to be the best it's ever been. And you're spiritually going to grow by leaps and bounds like nothing you've ever experienced. And she looked at me like, she looked like one of the Stepford wives. She like very prim and proper and very together. And she goes, Artie, I've never ever cheated on my husband. I've always been faithful. And I said, I'm just telling you the opportunity is going to present itself and you're going to step out and this is what's going to happen. A year later, everything I said happened.
Do you find that happens often? Do you find that you predict that women or men are going to cheat on their...
No, not because every single relationship is different. There's no set protocol just because they see me that, oh my God, I don't want to hear. Now, usually the spouses are afraid to come and see me because they know what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
So they're saying, oh, this is bull crap, or this is he's a fraud, or I don't believe in that, or blah, blah, blah. It's because they're hiding behind something that they're doing. It might not.
Hiding is terrible.
Yeah, and it's not a matter of just being promiscuous. It could be about finances. It could be about anything, about business, about whatever. And they just don't want, to be found out. But through their partner, I could find out whatever.
And can't you actually see it through them too when somebody is hiding something?
No, absolutely. I don't. That person does not have to be there. So I'm just as accurate over the phone as I am in person.
Sure, because you don't
it's all
actually need-
energy. It's all
Exactly.
energy. All I have to do is hear the voice, or you could just ask me about your relative or whatever over the phone, and cosmically, the answers just come right to me. I'm like a mechanic.
This
I'm
is
like a
after
driver.
26 years of experience.
Yeah.
That you're able to do this, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of these things that that you're saying. That you're the only psychic I know. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I feel honored. Let me
Actually,
shake your hand.
that is not the truth. He knows plenty of them. He just doesn't realize it.
Yeah, probably that's the case.
Well, there you go.
The thing is, I gotta say this also. A lot of people might say, "Oh, I would never go see somebody like you because it's against my religion or it's against God and stuff." And I tell everybody, it's all what your intentions are behind your actions. I do everything with the sensation of healing. I say my prayers every day. I ask the angels for answers and for guidance. I ask the angels and the Holy Spirit for protection. So I do everything with the best of intentions, and it's not without them that I could do what I do. So I tell people jokingly, lovingly, I said, if you're saying that what I do is the devil's work, then I have to shake the hand of the devil because he's helped me heal an awful lot of people, and maybe he's repenting through me.
That is a riot.
Now,
So-
what about children? I've heard that children can see things.
Oh, they're
and,
extremely sensitive. Society screws them up. My spiritual partner on my radio show, she was born with the gift. And she started seeing things at 6 years old. And she went to foster home after foster home, and then finally she was adopted by an Italian Catholic family. So even though she had this incredible gift, they kept on suppressing it, and it makes you very depressed when you're in denial of this such a gift. And what happens is that a lot of parents, unfortunately, a lot of adults,
They don't actually understand.
they don't understand, and they say, "Oh, you're just crazy," or "Oh, that's not
Well,
true." And-
imaginary friends.
yeah, and so they end up just screwing up with the kid's mind because what's naturally coming to them, they're not acknowledging it and
Exactly.
embracing it. They're afraid of it, and they say, "Oh, you're crazy," and all this.
And that's what it
that's
is.
a
It's
shame.
all about fear. It's all about fear.
It's fear. So when people are saying, "I don't believe in psychics," or "I don't believe in you," I love skeptics because I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm just telling you my gut, whether you believe in me or not. So they're usually the easiest ones to connect on, only because they have no expectations. People do ask me, can everyone be read? Is everyone readable? And the answer is no, because if your energy is challenging me, whether it be out of jealousy or whether it be out of anger with God or with whoever, if your energy is blocking me and you put up a wall with I cannot work over your free will. So I have to gain their trust with what it is that I'm saying. I have to gain their trust. So once I gain their trust, then all of a sudden the information will flow. But most of the people who I read are pretty easy to read. And most of the people who come and see me.
Well, most of the people
And-
want to.
Yeah, most of the people want to. A lot of people do. But the people who don't, they're just people who don't believe in God, the people who don't believe in spirit. And I believe in God 100%. I was raised in a Jewish family, and I'm not a very religious person. My family members are. We're raised conservative. But I am a much more spiritual person, and I 100% believe in God and the angels on a much deeper level than I would say that my family does, because a lot of people are just conditioned in
See,
a way.
that's the way I am also.
And, I feel like, hey, I get answers. And when I read the Bible while sitting in temple and I'm looking at the English version and I'm reading a bunch of stuff, I said, I'm really having a hard time believing in this. I really am in some of this stuff. I'm very grateful for my upbringing. Don't get me wrong. It gave me a base foundation of God and of love and with family. So religion does serve a purpose, but religion is supposed to be a bridge to spirituality. But religion is not spirituality, because you have a lot of, I'll say, jerks out there who go to church every single week, but they're nasty to their fellow man.
Yes.
And that's totally not the intention. So when you're praying to God, and you think you're being this holy person,
I love that.
but you're acting like a little poop head to your fellow man,
I know-
that's not right at all.
I know a girl who, claims to be a religious person, and she's a nasty person with negative energy.
Yeah, and they're
it's
very
amazing.
judgmental.
Exactly. And she has no friends. And there's a reason for that. People don't want to be around her because of this.
Who's this?
And she's really.
Don't say that. Don't put her.
Oh, of course not. No.
If it's Joan Rivers, you could say that it was somebody like that. Then okay, yeah.
But it wouldn't be Joan
Right,
Rivers. She
right.
was fabulous.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
If you're joining us just now, we are Trend Radio, and we're talking with Artie Hoffman.
We are talking with Artie Hoffman.
That's
who
me.
is
The Jew
awesome.
with a clue.
That would be me.
If people wanted to contact you, where and how could they do that?
All right, if they just use their telepathy. If
You'll
they
come
tap
to
in,
them.
you'll just feel me. Just call me at 877-ANGEL-02 or go to artiehoffman.com. You'll see my YouTube. You'll see all the events. ARTIEHOFFMAN.com. artiehoffman.com. I have a YouTube series where I have 2 new YouTubes going up every single week. It's like and I talk about life. I talk about God. I talk about sex. I talk about relationships. Everything and anything that is very important to your common person, common man and woman. And, Facebook me, Twitter me, whatever you want. But I'll be your friend and I'll help you out. And if you want to do an Artie party, I go to people's homes.
I love it.
And
Artie
I read,
party.
Yeah, and I read for their family and friends. And it's a lot of fun. And everyone will get a recording. And I do private sessions, whether it be over the phone or in person. And my place is in Woodbridge, New Jersey. So if you wanted to get a reading.
I think we should have an Artie party at the salon.
I
think that'd
so.
be great.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be great.
Oh my God, because I know that the girls in the salon would love it. Some of our clientele would love it. We should definitely have an Artie party.
Yeah, it's a crowd pleaser. And it's funny because as soon as they walk out of their session, everybody goes, "What did he say? What did he say? What did he say?"
Of course.
You have your really nosy person.
And we have the perfect little room for you.
That would
And
be
we have
awesome.
a lot of nosy people. Also,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny because one of my friends who have had like 5 or 6 Artie parties. She goes, Artie, she goes, I wish you were out here listening to all the stories of what people are saying about you and what they're saying with their stories. And he said this and he said that, blah, 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 blah. And what was funny is I said, I can't. I said, I'm too busy inside giving the information. She goes, I know, but I wish you were a fly on the wall listening to all this. She gets so excited about it. And the funny thing is her husband gets so sick and tired of listening to her talk about Artie. And he likes me as a person, but
Sure.
like it's like a little jealousy, but he appreciates me as a guy too, But when he got to know me, he was like totally cool. And so anyway, I was leaving their house, and as I was leaving her house after visiting her, just as I got out of the driveway, I called her up, and Donna goes, Artie, what's the matter? I go, nothing. I said, I just wanted to give you something. She goes, what's that? Because she instantly thinks if I'm calling her up, there's a reason. Like, oh my God, am I going to die, or am I going to... She gets like a neurotic. And so I said to her, I said, play 257. It's coming out. And she goes, really? She goes, all right. She goes, I'll tell Tony, which is her husband. She goes, I'll just tell Tony to stop by the store to get a ticket. And so she calls up. She tells me to get a ticket. And then, so the next day, Donna calls me up and she goes, Artie, you're not going to believe this. I go, what? Tony's on his way to work this morning and he calls me up. He never calls me up on the way to work. He calls me up. He goes, and he went to get his coffee and his paper like he does every morning. And he goes, you are not going to believe this. You are not going to freaking believe this. She goes, why? What's the matter? She wasn't even thinking of me. She's thinking, what's going on with work? He goes, 257 came out.
Great.
Wow.
No. So I'm
Wow.
so anyway,
See, that's awesome.
It's just one great thing after another, and to connect to people's loved ones. There's no other greater blessing to heal people's hearts.
I can't imagine anything better than that also. It's amazing. You make people feel good about everything.
I mean, I'm the one who does it, and I'm blown away by it. I'm just so blessed to be put in this position.
I have to tell you, I had reservations about meeting you today. I don't want to say I'm not a believer, but I tend to keep my distance. But I want to say that it was a pleasure meeting you, and
Thank you.
pleasure having you on the show.
I
Thank
told
you.
him how fabulous you are.
She tells me everything.
Oh, thank you.
A lot of this, not enough of this.
I told him.
That's too funny. Thank you so much. I
Oh,
really
come on. I'm the
appreciate it.
purest
Thank
thing
you.
he knows. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Snow
Yes,
White
I
over
see
here.
nothing but white auras and halos above
Oh,
lips.
trust me when I tell you.
Are these
That's too funny.
earphones keeping the horns down?
You're in good grace. Don't worry. You've been cleansed. He's been hailed. Amen.
Oh, come on. He loves me. Don't let him fool you.
I know he does.
He adores me. He couldn't live without me.
I just
Look at
met
him.
you and I adore you.
Of course.
It's a perfect marriage on air.
Yes, my work wife here.
That's great. That's really cool. And like I said, I just feel very blessed and very humbled to
As
get
you
all this
should.
information. And I'm going to tell you something really interesting. I was, a girl who was doing a massage on me, and I was giving her information while she was working on it. It just came through natural. I wasn't trying. And she was very gracious. She let me go a little longer. She was working on me. And she says, I want to work on a book about healing and stuff like that. And I said, I have the perfect name. And it just came to me like that. And I said, I have the perfect name for your book. And she said, what? It's Out of My Hands.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Great.
awesome.
And so she said, so she wrote that. And so she's in the process of writing that book and stuff. And so like just beautiful thoughts and messages come all the time. And, a lot of people who are who have a hard time believing in God or angry at God or, how can he allow this to happen? All these bad things happen and stuff. And there is a divine purpose, and people don't want to hear that crap like, oh, there's a reason for everything. But there really is. And I tell people, God is like the sunshine that could be behind the clouds. You might not see him behind the clouds, but he's always there shining. And your clouds represent your fears, the fears of life. And when you remove your fears, you could see the sunshine, and you will feel his beautiful energy and his beautiful loves, shining into your bodies and into your heart. And he will help you get nurtured. He will nurture you and
Wow.
love you and give you answers,
Well,
whatever
that's
you
a
need.
beautiful thought. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It came to me literally yesterday. I woke up and I get these inspirational messages.
And you knew that you were going to say it for the first time on our show.
And on your show, this is the first time publicly I'm saying it. Yeah. So, but like I said, it's all these beautiful thoughts and messages, and I'm in the process of finishing off on a book, my first book. So it's
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about it. I can't wait, and
Well, I, for one, can't wait to read it.
Well, thank you, sugar.
Well, you're welcome.
And you want to know something? A lot of times I joke around.
I know, the
I joke
voices.
around with
The voices.
with an English accent,
I know.
because some people are turned on by English accents. And so once in a blue moon, I'll talk like this. Or if I'm at a restaurant and I'll start talking like this, right? Just to screw with them, just to have fun, not as a psychic.
Right.
And a waitress, oh my God,
You're
I love that
English, yeah.
accent. Where are you from? And I look at them, I go,
Jersey City.
I said, can't you tell? I said, I'm from Central Jersey. I said, we all talk like this.
Oh. Well, Artie, thank you so much for gracing our presence today.
Oh my God, it was such a pleasure. I just thoroughly enjoyed myself. You guys make it very easy to talk to, and I had a blast.
I'm Anthony Vincent of Anthony Vincent Salon. Time for another fun and fabulous beauty tip with our tip chick. And here she is.
Got dry and brittle? Squeeze a little protein pomade into that parched mane. Say hello to beautiful.
Want your beauty question answered on the air? Email us now from anthonyvincentsalon.com. Remember, for the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Call us now at 609-448-2212. You'll be glad you did.
And now for the fun facts on finance
From a feminine point of view, our very own Dina Cobran.
of DC Alexander Wealth Management.
Good morning, Dina.
Good morning, Elise.
So I have a really fun subject to talk about today.
Can't wait.
Let's talk about taxes.
How fun.
Yeah, I know it's not fun. I know taxes are never fun, but 'tis the season for taxes. And what fun things we can actually do with that big lump sum of tax money.
Well, I know a lot of women that would want to say, let's go shopping, let's buy a new
Yes.
car, let's take a great vacation.
Let's get a new bag. Yeah, I know, but let's talk about something that can even be funner, if you will.
How about saving for retirement with that money?
How about tell us about that?
Okay.
How can we do
Because
that?
people think about this. All the times we talk about how nobody has money throughout the year to put money away for their future.
Right, and you get this lump sum of money, and you don't necessarily really need
to spend it all.
Right. Well, really, the best thing to do is be to take that back and put it into an investment for yourself, right?
Well, you're
and for
investing
your
in
future.
yourself then. Yeah, exactly.
Right, right. So think about how many more clothes you can buy in retirement, or many more vacations you could take if that
Well, I'm
money
not sure
accumulates.
people are going to want to buy, many more clothes in retirement. They probably look a little bit better than they think they're going to look when they're in their retirement. But basically, it's for life.
Right.
It's for your life.
Right, right.
And so I think that's really probably really important.
Yeah, so that would be a great suggestion for our listeners if we tell them, take that, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 and divide that up and put, I would love to tell them to put the whole thing, because
Okay.
that's money that you haven't
Well, the whole
saved.
thing, the whole thing, obviously you haven't seen it yet, so you get a
You don't
lump
know.
sum, and that'd be a great thing. But even if you just take a little something for yourself and buy a little something and then put the rest away instead of spending, squandering the whole thing.
Exactly. And if they put it into a Roth IRA, so then it grows tax-free, as opposed to, having it grow tax deferred. There's a lot of different things that people can invest in. They could start a life insurance policy with that money. And that
good
could grow,
idea.
if they start a permanent policy that grows tax-free for the future, that would be great too. Because then I know that I probably lost you there for a second, but
No, you didn't. I'm listening. I was actually thinking of something I was going to add to that. But
yeah, because if you put, if you have, a couple $1,000s and you put it into a life insurance policy to get you started for the future, for the next year, and you let that life insurance policy accumulate cash value, you can pull that cash out in the future.
if you need it.
Right, if you need it. And then, it comes out tax-free as a, they call it a loan, but you don't have to ever repay it back. So I think there's so many things. You could also put it in for a college plan for your kids. There's so many things you could do to better our futures instead of just spending it all.
Instead of getting those new window treatments, just clean up the old ones.
Yeah. Now, another good thing would be to take part of that money and pay down your debt.
I was also going to ask you about that. I was
Yes.
going to say, it's right after the holidays. A lot of people have been cash poor, so they've been spending a lot on their cards.
Right.
So rather than just paying the minimum balance, what if they took that lump sum of money and they did that?
Yeah, that would be a good source also. You can do a couple of different things, You can divide the money up that you get and say, okay, I'm going to put this toward my debt. I'm going to put this toward my future. I'm going to put this toward my window treatments.
Yes, and with this little bit left, all right, buy yourself that pretty little outfit or pocketbook.
Right.
But be careful. Don't squander the whole thing on the clothing and the bags and the makeup.
Right. Yeah, and really think about what you're spending, because maybe when you're looking at that money that you're receiving and you say, that's forced savings right there. Maybe that will inspire you to force save more money for yourself during the course of the year instead of waiting for that check to come.
I love the way that sounds. Forced savings.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of the savings plans do in the corporate America, is they force you to save your money for retirement.
Right.
And if you're not in one of those plans, and it's a lot of companies don't offer that, and a lot of people don't have jobs today that offer forced savings. And I think
Right.
that's why so many Americans later in life are so poor, because there was a lot more of that in the past,
Well, then we should have, you should enforce that.
Right.
Enforce the forced savings. You should
Right.
actually set that up yourself. You can set that up with your bank. You also were talking about how you can set that up with just an IRA, right?
An
Yeah.
IRA or anything, through the bank, through a brokerage account.
Or through you.
Or through me. Absolutely through me.
And how would they reach you to do that?
Well, they can email me at dkobrin@nextfinancial.com.
Do it soon, everybody. You'll be glad you did.
Thank you. You will.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Next Financial Group Incorporated, member FINRA/SIPC. DC Alexander Wealth Management is not an affiliate of Next Financial Group Incorporated. 2346 Route 33, Suite 307, Robbinsville, New Jersey 08691. Phone number 609-945-7330.
Need a salon that's about the whole you? Precision haircuts, flawless makeup, impeccable nails, top-rated professional hair products. Anthony Vincent Salon. Salon. Looking for a hairstylist who has his finger on the pulse of all the latest trends? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for a dependable salon with over 35 years in the industry? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for New York City and internationally trained stylists that will create the perfect look for you? Anthony Vincent Salon. Shine brightly while walking down the aisle. Anthony Vincent Salon. For longer, thicker, beautiful hair extensions, Anthony Vincent Salon. Incredible makeup applications for weddings, proms, or any special occasions. Anthony Vincent Salon. Have dry, brittle summer hair? Get a hot shot. Anthony Vincent Salon. Before you put a ring on it, manicure it. Anthony Vincent Salon. Your image is their specialty. For the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Anthony Vincent Salon. For a more beautiful you, call now 609-448-2212 and follow them on Twitter.
Well, welcome back.
Yes.
Well, that was
That was unbelievable and
this was an
so
unbelievable show
inspirational,
today.
and
Yeah,
he's just so awesome.
for as inspirational as he is. More people need to get in touch with him because the suicide rate among men like 35 years old, 35 to 64, it rose 27% between 1999 and 2010. Yeah.
How sad is that?
Well,
I think those people actually need to get in touch with themselves.
That's right. They're experiencing a crisis of connection.
Yeah, well, they're not connected.
No,
That's for sure.
At least that's what Thomas Joyner says. He's a professor of psychology over at Florida State University. I think we met him.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Why?
I think we
How?
did. In one of our events.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We come across a lot of people. Anyway,
Of course we do.
Yeah. Work and the pursuit of success can be very isolating, according to him.
I can understand that.
If you remember, he told us that if you find yourself disengaging socially, he said you should take action right away.
Except the thing is that sometimes you don't realize it. So you kind of have to, understand that if you are disengaging, you might be in a very bad place and you might not realize that that's what you're actually doing. People will notice around you, of course, but you might not listen. And so, it's a matter of really taking notice of yourself.
And I think it's all about living a healthy lifestyle, like hitting the gym, at lunchtime, something like that.
If you're going to kill yourself, and I hate to say it like that, you're in a very, very, very bad place. If you find yourself...
Are you talking about me when you say you, or the vernacular?
I'm talking about
you?
the vernacular always, and
yeah.
especially about something like this, definitely not a light subject. If ever you find yourself in a situation where you really honestly can't handle it, I know, you have to go to somebody that you can trust, of course. Go to somebody you can trust. And if you really don't find that you have anybody to trust, email us at trendradio920@gmail.com. We will help you in any way that we can and definitely point you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Because it's a very, very, very serious situation that you're putting yourself in.
Right. And, a lot of times if, you want to help yourself, you helping someone else helps you. Like
Always.
you got a friend who is putting up a new deck. This is guy stuff. Grab a hammer, help him. What you're saying is right. Social involvement is really the key for good mental health.
Again, don't feel though. See, you might not realize that you're just not doing it. You might not have in your mind a friend that you could turn to or a friend that you can help. That's where it comes in, where go to somebody that you feel you can trust. And if you don't have anybody, again, you can email us or go to your church, your local synagogue, go somewhere where you can reach out to somebody and they can help you.
Yeah. Well, let's get on to a lighter subject. Wow.
I would love to. Bring me to the clouds now, because damn.
Yes. Are you having difficulty expressing what you want between the sheets?
Are you?
I always have difficulty expressing what I want.
I don't think you do. Somehow, I really don't think you do, Mr. Control.
Let's learn from some lesbians.
From what?
Let's learn from the lesbians.
Okay.
When it comes to orgasms, that is.
Uh-huh.
Lesbians come out on top.
Oh, I'm sure they do. And what makes you so sure?
Oh, a report that I read in the Journal of Sexual Medicine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know that my stuff is all accurate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You sure this is from a report and not from you?
I'm pretty sure that I have not been with some lesbians. They may have turned into lesbians once I was with them. But
now that I understand.
Well, never mind. Anyway.
Okay, what does your report say?
Well, that gay women climax much more frequently than straight women.
Really? Mm-hmm. And why is that?
With a familiar partner.
A familiar partner.
A familiar partner. That means someone you've had sex with before.
I understand what it means, and I agree that you would definitely have a better orgasm with somebody who's familiar to you because you can express yourself.
Yes. 75% of the time versus 62%, according to that recent research published in that Journal of Sexual Medicine.
And why do lesbians supposedly have a better orgasm or more orgasms than non-lesbians? Because if you're with a familiar partner, then what difference does it make who you're with?
Well, lesbians tend to use a variety of techniques. And sex often lasts much longer with a lesbian or a female.
I think it depends on the couple.
Well, you have a point there, but we're talking about
point.
lesbians in general.
Oh, we're talking about lesbians in general.
Well, and their ability
I think I know what you have on your mind.
What? I think that I used to be a lesbian.
I think you probably were a lesbian. Maybe you still are and you just don't know it.
That's very possible. Very, very possible.
All righty. What else you got for me?
All right. We're going to wrap this up with a news flash.
News flash.
Yes. Doing laundry in cool water may cut your energy bill, but washing socks in lower temperature water may make you more susceptible to athlete's feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You need the hot water to kill that fungi.
Do you have fungi?
I do not. My feet
they're kissably clean, aren't they?
are soft and sweet
And good enough to eat?
smell like a peach.
Ah. Wow. Well, you know what?
I've got nice toes.
Everybody, I have to just, okay, whatever you want to tell yourself. Everybody, trust me on this. Not so much like a peach.
Oh, you know what I wanted to mention to you?
What's that?
35 years old. I know you are not quite there yet.
Oh, yeah?
But at 35 years old, that's the age when men are most likely to be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
Oh, thank God I'm not a 35-year-old man.
Yeah. So, I think that I need to, to have my stones examined regularly.
On that note, go see your doctor. And we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Trend Radio, where we talk about what's hot and what's not every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Learn and laugh with us anytime, any place. Go right to our website, AnthonyVincentSalon.com. Click away and listen today.
And if you have a topic of interest that you want us to talk about, or you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us now at trendradio920@gmail.com. You'll be glad you did.
Remember, your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you make people feel becomes your trademark. I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise.
We'll talk to you next week.
Bye for now.